Let's do a deep dive and analysis of the slice serve of Taylor Fritz. Now, first, this video is courtesy of Court Level Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to their awesome channel. I've put their link in the description below. All right, let's watch his slice serve twice, and then we'll analyze it. All right, Taylor is known for a monster serve, and let's really take our time through this analysis and see what you can copy to improve your own slice serve. So the first thing is the grip. One of the things we notice, and it's a little hard to see, but we can tell, is his racket face is slightly open. This is indicative of using a continental grip. So if you're working on the grip or struggling with your grip, hold the grip the way your coaches are teaching you or the way you're learning here on YouTube, continental, but have the racket face slightly open. It'll actually encourage you to use the proper grip, the continentals. Okay, let me show you how to find a continental grip. So first for you righties, you're going to take the base knuckle of your index finger and your heel pad, and you're going to place both of those spots on panel number 2. That is the 45-degree angle panel on the top right of your handle. Notice the racket is on its edge. That is the way you count the panels. The top panel is number 1, and righties count clockwise. So panel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You're going to take the base knuckle of your index finger and your heel pad and place them on panel number 2 for the correct serve, the continental grip. And for you lefties, it's the same thing, just the reverse. Base knuckle of your index finger and your heel pad, and this is your panel number 2. The top panel is panel number 1, no matter if you're right or left-handed, so we got panel 1, but you're going to count counterclockwise for the octagon. So this is panel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So lefties put the base knuckle and the heel pad on panel number 2, continental grip. Now, as he begins his motion, I want you to look at his feet and how he rocks back onto his back foot, putting most of the weight on his back foot. We can see the front foot comes up, right? The toe comes up, and he's going to like squash the bug with his left toe there. That's because his weight was on his front foot, then it rocks back, and then it rocks forward again. So I want you to use that. Whether you're a pinpoint stance, a platform, it doesn't matter. It's great if you can rock back and then rock forward again. It gets your momentum going forward and allows you to chase a toss, especially if you toss it forward into the court. The next idea, the toss. I'm a big fan of toss timing. Toss timing is when you put the ball at the top of the head, which we can see here, ball is at the top of his head, and you throw a timer down. And you see how long it takes for the player to hit the ball starting from this point. Now, the range of acceptability and the proper toss timing I recommend is 0.6 to 0.9 seconds. If you hit the ball starting here at 0.6 to 0.9 seconds, then your toss is the right height. So let's put the timer down and let's see how long it takes for him to contact the ball. And right there, perfect. So he's in that range. He's higher in the range, but he's absolutely fine. He's within the range of acceptability. His toss is not too high, nor is his toss too low. I also want you to notice where he places this toss. This toss is to the right of his head as a right-hander. If you're hitting a slice serve, let's say we put a line right here. If you're going to hit a kick serve, you want the toss over here. But if you're hitting a slice serve, you want the ball to stay to the right as a right-hander. If you're a lefty, keep the toss to the left of your head. This is going to help you greatly in being able to impart the spin that you're looking to produce on a slice serve, and I'll explain that in a second. Next, I want to show you the relationship between the release of the ball and when he bends his knees. Notice the moment we started that toss timer, right? I put the timer when the ball was right at the top of his head. At that moment, it's also when he begins bending his knees. Watch right there is when he begins bending the knees. This really helps him get more racket speed because it sets in motion proper leg drive timing. So many recreational players, they toss the ball and their racket's coming up. You know, they're going to try to hit the birthday hat, yada, yada, and they have not begun the knee bend, which makes their knee bend late, which makes their leg drive late. So I want you to look at your serve And I want you to see if you can begin the knee bend the moment the ball comes out of your hand. That will actually help you to get more racket speed. I'll explain that like in about 30 seconds here. But I just want you to look for this. So many players, they wait for the ball to be way up here. Then they begin the knee bend, and all of a sudden the racket is too early in the swing, or you could say the legs are too late. I'll explain that right now. So let's talk about when he begins driving his legs up. Because he bent his legs early, right when the ball was coming out of his hand, notice his body is exploding up or beginning to explode up before he hits the birthday hat. So you know from my videos that I'm a big fan of the birthday hat concept, where someone is wearing a birthday hat. Geez, I completely missed it on the top of his head. There we go. So somebody's wearing a birthday hat and they got it under their chin, the string. And I teach people to hit the birthday hat off of the head. Well, it's not just important that you hit the birthday hat off your head. This is also known as a right to left swing, where the racket goes from right to left on the screen. But it's important that you begin the leg drive before you hit the birthday hat. Really, the latest it can be is as you're hitting. Many recreational players wait for their racket to drop all the way back here before they even begin leg drive. And that's actually due to the fact that they begin bending their knees too late. See how that correlates? But because he bent his knees or began the knee bend as the ball was released, he's able to drive up with his legs prior to hitting the birthday hat. So if we just put a line at the bottom of his leg drive, so there is when his head is fully down and then he drives up. Notice we see his head popping up above that green line before he hits the birthday hat. So he basically gets a full head up above that green line before the racket knocks off the birthday hat. So please check your serve. Bend the knees earlier maybe than normal so that you can drive them up earlier than normal. The whole reason for this is because when you drive your legs up prior to hitting the birthday hat, it gets your body going up as the racket is going down. It produces a bigger shoulder stretch, and you can actually increase the racket speed that much more. So leg drive timing is just as important as making sure that you drive your legs up. Now, I've already mentioned it, but please go out and put a birthday hat on your head and knock the hat off. I do not know of a better drill for the serve. And the reason is most drills, you do the drill and then you hope it helps the serve. With the birthday hat, you can hit a real serve and see if you knock the birthday hat off, which gives you instant feedback as to whether or not your racket, went back here and laid open like a waiter's tray, or if you actually used the circular swing that you want to use on a serve. You can see that he is drawing a circle with his racket. The swing is very circular on a serve. That's how you produce racket speed. And so we want that racket to pass in over the head, which allows for a circular movement. If you're lacking speed, try wearing a birthday hat and watch what happens to the speed of your serve. Knock the birthday hat off from front to back, and the circular motion is basically forced to happen. Now let's dive into the number one power source on the serve. And it's actually what produces this circle that I was just talking about. The circle is created by the elbow driving up. Watch his elbow come forward and up toward the ball. It's almost like he's going to hit the ball with his elbow, right? So he's looking up at the ball, and try this with your serve. Look up at the ball, but then feel like you're going to hit the ball with your elbow, not your hand, your elbow. Felix Auger-Aliassime is incredible at this, by the way. That driving elbow where the elbow goes up first. This is what produces the circle. This elbow movement is actually the number one power source on the serve. So please make sure that your elbow is driving forward and up. Now, that is occurring, you can see, by his body rotating. So his body here is facing this way. And now watch here, his body is basically facing this pole, right? This light pole right here. So there is body rotation to make that elbow come forward and up. But that's how you're going to get maximum speed on your serve. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. So I want you to look at this point at his racket. This is called on edge. This is a supinated position with his strings facing off to the left. Now, if we had to quantify this from an angle position, let's say that this is 0 degrees, right? So his racket is at 0. Now, let's look at his racket after he hits the ball. So now his strings are facing off to the side, but the other direction. So his racket now is at 180 degrees. So his racket has gone from facing left to facing to the right. Yes, you want to pronate on a slice serve. I have a lot of players who ask me in the comment section, or they email me, ryan@2minutetennis.net, or they'll reach out to me in my inbox on my website, 2minutetennis.net, and they say, Ryan, how do you hit side spin? How do you hit slice while pronating? That doesn't make sense. Well, here's how to do it. We have to understand when contact occurs. If the green represents 0 and the red represents 180, when does contact occur? What is the number of the degrees his racket is positioned? What is that number at contact? The answer is less than 90. Less than 90. So if we look at his racket after contact, his racket after contact is facing straight forward. His strings are facing straight forward. Let me actually use a different tool. There we go. His strings are facing straight forward toward the net in front of him. His racket has gone from facing left to facing forward to facing to the right. But look where the ball goes. The ball doesn't go forward. The ball goes off way to the left and actually pulls Bautista Agut off the court, way off the court. I mean, look where this ball lands. It's an incredible slice serve, by the way. This ball lands just inside the sideline, way in front of the service line, pulling Bautista Agut way off the court. So how is he doing that? Because he, at contact, is still leading slightly with the right edge as a right-hander. If you're a lefty, you want to still be leading slightly with the right edge. So let's give it a number. Well, it has to be less than 90. So let's say he's contacting at 80. So you want to lead with the edge of your racket, which forces pronation. And this move is like the fastest way to move your racket through contact. It's just a natural movement. Baseball pitchers do this. American football quarterbacks, go Eagles, use this when they're throwing a football. It's just a natural throwing motion with your arm, pronation. So you want to contact prior to squaring up the racket. That is how you get side spin. You get side spin by having, on a slice serve for a right-hander, the right edge in front at contact. Now that's only part of the story, because let's actually look at the direction his racket is traveling. Watch after he hits the ball, his racket does not chase the ball. His racket actually swings toward this guy. Watch Taylor's racket swing off to the right. He is not swinging the direction he wants the ball to go. So you could actually say that as he was serving, he was thinking of serving toward that guy, swinging that direction as he's hitting the ball, which, by the way, is why it's important to toss to the right as a right-hander. You then swing to the right as you're hitting. You can follow his hand, by the way. Look at Taylor's hand. Look at his hand. Not even just the racket. Look at his hand and how it's really tracking out toward that guy in the blue shirt. But the reason the ball doesn't go there is because his strings are facing to the left as he hits the ball. So swing to the right as a right-hander, but lead slightly at contact with your right edge. When you strike the ball, that'll point the strings off to the left, swing to the right, and the ball has a ton of spin. That is how you're actually going to get the ball to curve off the court and pull your opponent off the court, which then allows you to use a beautiful serve +1 and win more points. Now, we can't just talk about the direction his racket is traveling. Let's actually look at where his feet go. Let's put a little mark here on where his left foot is. So there's his left foot. Let's watch where his left foot is when he's done. Notice his left foot goes slightly to the right. He is chasing this toss. He is chasing off to the right his toss that went to the right of his head. I watch so many recreational players who send me videos of their serves. We do Zoom lessons, we do stroke analysis, and their body is jumping as a right-hander to the left while trying to hit a slice serve, partly due to the toss being off to the left too much, but also because their body and their racket are trying to swing the direction they're trying to hit the ball, which is not what you want. So on a slice serve as a right-hander, toss to the right, swing to the right, obviously with the right edge slightly in front so the ball goes left, and then jump that direction, actually chase the toss, getting your body to jump slightly to the right to get your energy flowing that way. And it'll make sure that you actually swing the proper direction for the spin. And last, you've got the back foot kicking up on the toe. Kicking up in the back. And that is because he's leaning forward. He jumped forward. He's leaning in. And anytime you lean forward, this back leg, I've heard coaches call it the scorpion leg. I like that name. I think it's a good name. But you want the back leg to kick up. And that's an easy way to keep your balance. Now, if you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, then use my link for Play Your Court, and it's playyourcourt.com/2minute tennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. Go out on court and film yourself serving, and then compare your serve to what you learned in this video. If you do, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.